Hey, this is the Sprint 1 video report for Murray Campbell. This is game 377. So this week was all about fixing up the old problems from before, and I definitely did some of that. That was good. Apart from that, we set up a new, we began setup for this for handling different types of collision volumes, because we're going to be introducing the AABB volume soon, so it'll have to work concurrently with the bounding sphere volume. So a lot of things had to change with that. And we also gave some thought into like what we're gonna do as a side project for this engine. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about first what we did. Just gonna real quickly go over this. We fixed up the sprite system. Let's go here. We give the user a lot more in terms of how they can manipulate sprites. We made it a lot easier. We have these functions that allow them to set and get the position. It handles all of the world, like the setting of the world matrix and all of that, so that they don't have to. We set the rotation. We can do we can let the user set the rotation. We can even I added this rotate function that allows them to just specify an angle rotation, and that will add to the current rotation given the angle that you give it. So that's good for making things spin around in the update function, for example. Scale, all of that. Render is good. Rendering also, you can see here we get the sprite crank. This is all handled under the hood, so we don't need to. Previously I was requiring the user to like get the sprite camera, which was silly. So we're doing that right here, so that the user doesn't have to. All they have to do is call render. So you can see here, this sprite class, this stitch, has a sprite. It's super bare bones, and it's I cleaned it up a lot by doing this. Let's see. So you just create the new sprite. It does all these things for you. You can set its position. I do that initially. I tell it to rotate here. That's really like it, and then you can tell it to render, and that's like a far cry from what we had before. So that's good. Let's see. Visualizer has a small command system now, so that's good. I'm pretty sure like the render, when the render call is made, it doesn't automatically or it doesn't like do it multiple times. It doesn't like create a new doesn't like redo all of this every time we tell it to render. I think we changed how we handle here. Let's move into this. Pulse has changed a little bit. The main game thing, we process the time in this update function here, so it's not scene controlled. I was dumb for doing that before. We process the elements of the commands in the visualizer here. I need to split the scene manager draw calls between 2D and 3D, so that 2D occurs after the 3D and the process elements, because otherwise we get this graphical effect, that this like glitch where the sprite appears over the visualizer, so that looks bad. We're unloading content correctly. I'm pretty sure things are fine with that. What else is important? Math tool was a singleton. This math tech class, it was a singleton. Now it's just static functions. It's cleaned up a lot. It's good. We like that. I had to. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the collision stuff now. We've begun setting up this this collision volume thing. So this is the collision volume base class, and then bounding sphere and AABB inherit from this collision volume class. We do this so that the user can specify a volume, and then the system will know how to handle that volume. We're still working on actually handling those volumes. I'm not entirely sure how to do that yet. I tried with this like set collision volume function that the user would call in like on creation of their game object, but it's pretty weird. I'm still like figuring it out, but we have the basic architecture there. It's all set up. It's ready to be put to use, and it'll kind of just like fit nice and neatly, hopefully, into this, because now with this on the collision test command, for example, in execute, we're just like calling this collision test pair function in the collidable, and that just now just like takes that collision volume and calls the intersect function on the collision volume, which goes to here in the collision volume. It's a virtual function now, so I think this is correct. I think this is how it's supposed to be done. I'm not sure. I need to talk about it more. But now the user, or now we were able to define intersect functions for the separate volumes, which will be called like delegated because of inheritance. The math we can, because we know that like this is an AABB, we can call the correct intersect function in the math tools, in the math tech class. We also have to now account for the fact that different volumes are going to be colliding with each other. So instead of just doing an intersection between one thing and just between like two bounding spheres, we have to check between two, either a bounding sphere and another bounding sphere, or a collision volume, or or an AABB, or an AABB and a collision with a bounding sphere or an AABB. Basically, like we have to do a collision between an AABB and any type of collision volume, or a bounding sphere and any other type of collision volume. So yeah, it's weird. I'm like trying to just like talk myself through it and figure it out, and it makes sense. I know how it looks in my head. I just it's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out how to actually implement it. Here you can see in the math tech class, I've just like had these different intersection functions. We talked in class the other day and during the lecture about what we'll have to do. There will be a lot more. There will be a lot more internal functions in this class soon, but for now, these will be the main functions that get called, and then we figure out whatever from there. I had to comment these out just to like make this run, and it still doesn't run because I'm doing something wrong, but we'll figure it out, but anyways, there's that. I'm way too big on time all the time. Let's see. What was the one last thing? And ideas for what we're doing for the project. Man, it's still like I don't know. I have to like come up with ideas for so many things right now. I've been there are certain things that interest me more than others, and that is maybe doing a small physics system that might be really difficult but would be really fun. Because I'd like to see physics in this. What else? AI was another thing I expressed interest in, though I don't have much knowledge on it, but I can look up behavior trees and things like that and figure it out on my own if I wanted to. I just don't know how to like get that working on an engine side thing. Like what architecture, I don't know like what architecture you need engine side to do AI, because I'm used to writing AI as a completely like a user thing. Um, so that's a little bit weird. But we'll see. Yeah. Apart from that, like it might be good to get like an audio system working. I'm interested in like sound and audio and stuff, and so maybe building like a robust audio management system that allows the user to control, just like have a lot of control over how the game sounds. Like would be fun. Um, we can even add some internal like audio effects that could be just that sounds like interesting to me, and I want to like research those like weird audio uh, modification algorithms, like those like audio. I don't know. I just want to like do that. That sounds fun. But anyways, got some ideas. It'll be good. That's pretty much it. Thanks.